Hello everyone. Thanks for stopping by my channel, Get Crafty with Sally. My name is Sally Poole and I'm an independent demonstrator with Stampin' Up. Today we're going to be making this really cute fun fold card. It's called a tri-fold angle cut card. And you can look these up on YouTube and see different sizes, the way this is folded. This one's a little different. I think most of them that you'll see are folded evenly, but I thought this was cute. So I am using the paper from the Delightfully Eclectic Designer Series paper pack. And while we're on the topic of paper, I think that I will mention that today is the beginning of the Designer Series paper sale. It runs today, June 1st through the 30th. You can save 15% on select papers. Hello Irresistible is on sale. That is a gorgeous pack of paper, so if you don't have any of that, take a look at it. These are some of the other ones that are on sale. Countryside Inn. Most of these are regularly $12.50 and they're on sale for $10.62 this month. I think they are all 12 by 12 except for this glorious gingham, which is 6 by 6. And it is regularly $10.50 and it's on sale for $8.92. So there's the fresh as a daisy, the Zoo Crew. I'm going to order some of this. I don't have it yet. I don't have the Ink Botanicals. Here's the Delightfully Eclectic. And it was $30 and it's on sale for $25.50. But it is a huge pack of paper. It is 48 sheets of double-sided paper. So if you make a lot of cards, that's well worth the money. If you look in the catalog, you will find the papers beginning on page 129, and that's where the Delightfully Eclectic is. Of course, you can also look online, and that will have all the papers that are listed on sale grouped in one place. One thing about this card, I think it's kind of addictive once you get to playing with it. It's one of those that you'll be thinking of different papers that you want to try, and you'll just keep grabbing different packs of paper and cutting them out and seeing what they look like. And don't forget, you can always make your own Designer Series paper with the inks that match these. So just, grab some floral stamps, background stamps of some kind, scripty, wordy, whatever. There's a new large background plaid stamp. Let me grab it. I think I have it. It is called Sketched Plaid. It would be great to make your own background for this card in whatever other colors of Designer Series paper you have that you might be trying to match something with. So let's see. I guess we can get started with the card. Let me show you what you're going to need to make it. I have a 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock for the base, and we're going to kind of cut this diagonally in a strange way. A 4-inch by 5 3/8 inch piece of the Designer Series paper from the Delightfully Eclectic pack. a 3.5 by 4 3/8 inch piece of basic white, 3.5 by 4 3/8 piece from the same pack, 2 3/4 inch by 3.5 inch from the same pack. And then you'll just need a scrap of, well, I'm using Bubble Bath for the card base, and you'll need a scrap of Bubble Bath for the sentiment. I also have a piece of Bubble Bath ribbon cut at about 6 inches, and it is from the new sheer ribbon combo pack. It has Bubble Bath, Lemon Lolly, and Azure Blue in it. I think the first video that I used this color on, I called it Azure, but I think it's Azure. But then I did look it up online after I saw several other people saying Azure. So it is French and it is Azure, but you probably aren't going to hear a bunch of people calling it that color. So I'm back to Azure like everybody else. So let's cut our card base first. Let me grab my trimmer. And we're going to, you'll have to have a pencil handy for a lot of this. I'm going to put my paper in here at the 3-inch mark, and I'm going to make a little pencil mark where the cutting track is. Then I'm going to flip this paper over to the other end, line it up at 3 inches, and make another pencil mark where the cutting track is. And then we are going to line up these marks in the track. Need some better glasses, and hopefully I won't stick my head in the camera. So we're going to line these up in the tracks. Cut that paper, and then we should have 2 pieces that match, so you'll be able to make 2 card bases from 1 full sheet of paper. So now we are going to score this card base. We're going to score it at 4 1/4, and I turned it upside down. 4 1/4, and then at 8 inches. Okay, put my trimmer away. Now we can fold our card base and get some nice creases in it. I'm going to switch my glasses. I'll probably have to do this the whole time. That's better. So I'm going to fold this over. This is the last piece. It's this piece facing forward. So I'm going to fold it over that. Make sure my edges match here. Get my bone folder and give it a good crease. Then I'm going to fold this piece over, make sure it's lined up, and give it a good crease. So there's our base. That's what it looks like. And I don't like the little edge that the cardstock gets, so I'm gonna press it down a little bit. So now, let me get a piece of scratch paper in here. There's a couple different ways you can do this. Let's start with the 4" by 5 3/8 inch piece. And I have actually made a template, just like, there's a little bug on there, just like the card base piece that I just cut. So if you have a template and you're going to make several cards, you'll see in a minute that I'm going to actually draw lines with my pencil along this. So if you have this template piece, you really won't need to take an eraser and get all of your pencil marks off of here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to line this piece up where I would normally glue it, and I've got about 1/8 of an inch margin around these 3 sides. So what I'm actually going to do is scoot it up another 1/8 of an inch from the bottom-ish, and it's not a big deal. So I've scooted it up. I'm going to line up my left and right margins, and you just want to make sure that your paper up here is long enough that it comes up past this edge of the card base. So I'm holding it and I'm going to flip it over. You can either take some snips and cut this along this template line. I'm not very good at that, so I'm not going to do that. I am going to lay it down and take my pencil and just draw a line across here, and then I'll cut it in my trimmer. So let's take the next piece, which is basic white, 3.5 inch by 4 3/8 inch. And we're going to do the same thing. Let's lay it on our card base, 1/8 of an inch margin all the way around, scoot it up another 1/8 of an inch. That looks good. And like I said, this isn't a big deal, so don't freak out and go, oh my gosh, shouldn't you be measuring that? It's not going to come out right. It'll look okay no matter what, unless you just really get crazy with it. So let's take our smallest piece, the 2 3/4 by 3.5 inch piece. We'll line it up on this little small end, scoot it up, make sure our left and right margins are straight-ish, flip it over. Don't know why that already has a line on the back of it. And then the one that we have left is another 3.5 by 4 3/8, and it's going to go on the back. So this is the paper that you're going to see here. That's actually on the back of the card. So we'll do the same process. Line it up like normal. Give it our margin, scoot it up a little bit, flip it over, another line, okay, so now let's get our trimmer back in here. I'm going to stand back up. And we'll line these pencil marks up in the track. Am I on the camera? Hopefully you can see this. So I'm lining it up right in the center of that track. So there's that one. And if you don't want to put a pencil line clear across the back of this, you could just, you know, do it on each end so you know where you're lining it up. But it's not going to matter because it's the back and you're not going to see it anyway. And then this is the one that goes the other direction because it's on the back. Okay, I think we're done with the trimmer. And now I always like to take my bone folder and flatten these little edges that I cut because they always seem to stick up. Okay, so now we can glue some of these pieces on our card base. So I'm going to get my green glue, my Tombow glue. Get this dried glue off the end of it. And I'll put some glue around the edge of this piece. A little bit in the middle. And then bring in our card base. And I'll lay this piece on here. And since we're using the green glue, it does afford us a little bit of time to scoot things around if they're not just right. So now let's put some glue on our basic white piece. I brought my little glue holder out here and I'm not using it. Let's see if I can remember to set my glue in it. Okay, try to line it up as best as I can. Put some glue on my small piece. Another good thing to do before you start gluing all these pieces is to lay them all out on here and make sure that they look right. They're all going in the right direction. I do have a little bit of, I don't know if you can see it there, my little pencil mark there. I am going to take this Pentel high polymer eraser and get that glue off of there, or excuse me, get that pencil off of there. The erasers on the pencil don't seem to take it off this cardstock for some reason. I don't know what the deal is with that. Okay, so let's put our smaller piece on here. And I am wanting to make one of these cards with the, let's see, what is it called? The Masterfully Made paper. I haven't ordered any of that yet, but I do have it on an order and I'll submit it later today. I think that would be really pretty on this style of card. And then you really don't need to do anything else. You can if you want. I mean, you should add a sentiment or something to it, but there's not a lot of like die cutting different pieces out and doing that type of thing. A sentiment and a little bit of embellishments is great. Okay, so we've got our front done. Let's get our back piece on here. Our back piece that you can see from the front. And that's probably scooted down a little farther than it needs to be, but it's okay. Looks fine. So next we are going to stamp our sentiment, and for this one I used the thank you from the Go-To Greetings set, and I think I'm going to stamp the Just a Note, and I'll make a couple of them out of that. I am using the VersaFine Clair, which is black ink. It is my favorite black ink that I use for sentiments. I don't use it when I'm stamping other images, if I'm going to color them or anything, because it does tend to bleed. Anyway, with Stampin' blends, which is what I usually use. Okay, so there's our sentiment. Let me grab my mini Stampin' cut and emboss machine. And we will, the die that I'm using is from the Cheerful Daisies set. The die came from that set, and it fits these sentiments really well. It fits the smaller ones, this Just a Note, thank you, and then the smaller thinking of you and happy birthday all fit. So let's lay that down. You can actually scoot it, make it a little bit lower and to the right if you want, because I am going to add a bow on the left side. Or you can make it even, it doesn't matter. So I've got my plate 1, plate 2, my paper and my die, the second plate 2, and we'll run that through. Okay, so there's our sentiment. So let's glue that to the front of our card. You could pop this up on dimensionals if you want, and you probably wouldn't want to, if it was popped up, you probably wouldn't want to put the bow right on top of this. You might want it off to the edge where it's like coming around it. Otherwise that gets pretty thick. If you're going to mail a card, if you're going to hand it to somebody, it's fine. Pop things up to your heart's desire if you're handing things to people. The taller the better, right? Okay, so there's our nice Just a Note. And then I've got my little sneaky bow tire. And I've got my little piece of bubble bath ribbon. If you haven't seen this little wooden setup before, you can probably find them on, I think they're still on Amazon, and there's probably people that make them on Etsy. It's pretty handy. You can move these little dowels out different ways to make your bows different sizes. I like it. Usually if I do it by hand, the bows, I get so off-centered. I usually end up with a large loop and a smaller one and a little tiny short end and a big long one. So that thing works great for me. So I'm going to take some glue dots and I'm going to put one on each side. The one on the left, you're going to want it closer to the center because your bow might hang off the edge. And I think I'll also put one, roll one up a little bit. Roll one up a little bit and glue it to my fingernail. Stick it right to the center of the bow. And then we can adhere the bow to the front of our card. And then I'm going to grab some good scissors and cut the tails of my bow a little bit because they are pretty long. I don't like it when I do that. I just barely missed cutting it. Well, that came out okay. Usually I have to cut both pieces again because that one comes out crooked. Okay, I'm also using some of the iridescent pearls, and I'm just gonna put a couple of these on here. I'll put one right here on our sentiment, and I'll put one up here on this pink strip, and one, how about down here on this little triangle. So there's the card. What do you think? This paper actually is the reverse side of this sheet. I actually love this sheet of paper. Did also make a couple other ones. Let me grab them. This is with the Cheerful Daisies set. So there's one, and I used the matching paper, the coordinating paper. I did cut out a couple of the die cuts of the daisy and the little stem on there. And this one is from also Cheerful Daisies. Did not use any die cuts for that one. And then this one is from the Countryside Inn paper. And I just think these little bunny rabbits are so cute. And then there's the foxes on that one. This is really pretty paper. That's another one you should grab if you don't have it yet. So anyway, here is the tri-fold angle cut card. I hope you like it. If you have any questions, just leave it in the comments section. Oh, I did mean to mention to you too, I always make a, gosh, I can't even think of what it's called now, PDF of the measurements of the cards and the products that you'll need to make it with. And there's always a link posted down below in the description box. So hopefully some of you find that handy. If you are getting anything out of my videos, please hit the like button, shoot me some hearts, share it with your friends and family, and it would be super awesome if you would subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. You can also subscribe to my newsletter by going over to my blog, and that way you can get updated on things that are going on with Stampin' Up! Sales and what have you. So anyway, I hope you like this and that you'll give it a try, and do jump in and stock up on the Designer Series paper during this sale. And I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thanks again. Bye-bye.